Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at the headlines. The third edition of the Caribbean Investment Forum kicks off at Trinidad Hilton. Farmers to benefit for compensation for losses sustained to crops and livestock as a result of new legislation. And Trinidad and Tobago welcomes a new Chinese ambassador. In our top story, hundreds of top businessmen and government officials from around the region gathered at the Hilton Trinidad for the third Caribbean Investment Forum. Delivering the feature address, Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, painted a picture of the strong position Trinidad and Tobago holds in boosting its economic activities.
The Caribbean Investment Forum 2013 officially kicked off on Monday at the Hilton Trinidad. The two-day calendar event, now in its third year, brings together top business executives and government representatives to engage in public-private networking. This year, the CIF offers participants the chance to hear from more than 100 local, regional, and international speakers and panelists as new business and investment prospects are presented. Plenary sessions will focus on critical issues such as entrepreneurship and innovation, while parallel sessions will focus on key investment industries in the Caribbean, including maritime, agribusiness, creative industries, and tourism. Delivering the feature address, Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, revealed several recent developments that would boost economic activity in this country. One such factor is that of the offer of US $3 billion from the President of the People's Republic of China, which she says Trinidad and Tobago would be able to immediately access to accelerate the development of business, commercial, and industrial parks throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
I'm advised by my Minister of Trade that we will embark upon building 7 such parks. We will utilize 592.1 acres of land, representing an investment of Trinidad and Tobago dollars $833 million. Thank you, Mr. Hawaii. I hope you can find it as Minister of Finance. And so the leasable space on the estates would be 355.7 acres. What would this do? This would give an immediate boost to our country's economic activity. We can do this within the next 2 years. We do not have to wait, and we can start immediately.
The Honorable Prime Minister spoke of a new feature of this year's CIF that would assist the region tremendously.
At the CIF 2013, the governments of Trinidad and Tobago and Canada have successfully collaborated to organize for the benefit of the Caribbean region a public-private partnership P3 symposium to assist governments of this region in building capacity and in designing and implementing P3 projects. Can we welcome our visitors from Canada, please, and thank them for being here. And so, when you attend this session, the P3 session, I think you may be able to gain considerable insight into the widely recognized Canadian P3 model. Key speakers at the seminar would include representatives from the Canadian Council for Public-Private Partnerships, Export Development Canada, the Canadian Commercial Corporation, the Canadian International Agency, the IADB, and the International Finance Corporation.
The speakers are expected to share strategic guidelines and best practices in the field of P3 projects, and the Honorable Prime Minister expects these discussions to accelerate private sector participation in development projects. She says the P3 discussion is of particular interest as the private sector must become a key partner in the economic recovery and sustainability as the goal of improving the quality of life and ensuring prosperity for all citizens is pursued. Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar spoke of another significant conference that Trinidad and Tobago will be hosting.
Next year, 2014, we will host the annual America's Competitiveness Forum right here in Trinidad and Tobago, and again we invite you and welcome you. As you're aware, the objective of the ACF is to facilitate the development of businesses and to promote the exchange of ideas and knowledge to enable the countries of the Americas to become more innovative, productive, and competitive. The ACF dialogue reaches the highest levels as delegates comprise heads of state, governments as well as ministers of finance, of trade, planning, and key business representatives.
The Honorable Prime Minister says her government is confident, serious and determined to ensure that the social and economic path it has chosen on behalf of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago will bear rich rewards for all its people. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
On the heels of welcoming China's president to our shores, Trinidad and Tobago is now welcoming the arrival of the new Chinese ambassador to the country.
Meet His Excellency Huang Jingyuan, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Trinidad and Tobago. Ambassador Huang has officially been unveiled as the new Chinese ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago. Although he adopted the post almost 1 month ago, his official unveiling has been curtained by the state visit of his president to this country. Ambassador Huang played a pivotal role in ensuring that the Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit took place successfully. Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. the Honorable Rudal Munilal thanks Ambassador Huang for ensuring the visit, which he describes as a high point in diplomatic relations between the both countries, was beneficial.
Your short period in office has already been distinguished by significant achievement, as I have no doubt that your leadership here at the embassy was instrumental in making the recent state visit truly an outstanding success. I know immediately on your arrival, you had the awesome responsibility of supervising and coordinating the myriad of important details and issues related to the visit of your esteemed head of state. The overall success and tangible outcomes must be a source of immense satisfaction to you, Excellency.
Minister Munilal adds that the visit brought Trinidad and Tobago some non-tangible but priceless benefits.
The visit has surely raised Trinidad and Tobago's international profile and has reinvigorated our position as an important geostrategic partner in the English-speaking Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere. Your Excellency, the visit was indeed meaningful on many levels. Many real outcomes were realized that will benefit the peoples of our two countries and the peoples of the wider Caribbean region. The deep and harmonious relationship between our two countries and between China and this part of the world have been truly energized.
The acting Foreign Affairs Minister praises Ambassador Huang for his invaluable contribution to furthering the diplomatic relationship between both countries. He adds that the relationship would be further enhanced this year when Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar makes a scheduled official visit to the People's Republic of China. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
When we come back, Microsoft founder Bill Gates to visit our Twin Island shores. Stay with us. Welcome back. Changes to legislation that provide farmers with compensation for losses sustained to crops and livestock as a result of natural disasters will soon be offered payments for losses suffered as a result of industrial damages. Food Production Minister Devant Maharaj made the disclosure during the weekly post-cabinet media briefing.
Farmers who have suffered losses as a result of natural disasters and industrial damages will soon be afforded compensation. Food Production Minister Devant Maharaj made the announcement during the weekly post-cabinet media briefing. The current legislation that governs was developed in the 1950s and revised in 1986 does not cater for such instances. Minister Maharaj says the new changes will now facilitate compensation for farmers who have lost livestock.
The intention with this new proposal, which has been agreed on by Cabinet, is to expand the assistance to include both crop and livestock farmers and fisher folk. The old policy was strictly restricted to crop farmers. We have now expanded it to livestock and fisher folk. The purpose is really to assist the farmer fisher folk to recommence their farming or fishing operations after a flood or natural disaster. And we must clearly put out that this assistance is not a right of the farmer or fisher folk. It has it is an option of the Ministry of Food Production to be exercised on a case-by-case basis.
He says in order to make claims, farmers must be registered with the ministry.
Some of the highlights of the policy include to assist the farmers and fisherfolk after flooding or natural disasters, and to pay disaster assistance. And this is assistance and not compensation. To be eligible for this assistance, farmer and the fisherfolk must be registered with the Ministry of Food Production. We know there are a lot of unregistered farmers out there, but they could avail themselves of the various offices of the Ministry of Food Production, the extension officers, and become registered.
The minister says farmers looking to claim for livestock must have some kind of identification form issued by the ministry.
The assessment of the claims will be done by the extension officers and the fishery officers by the Ministry of Food Production. The calculations of the claims will be made on a scientific disaster assistance model developed by the Ministry of Food Production and the University of the West Indies. The claims will not be entertained where the farmers' plots are in flood-prone areas or forest reserve. The claims will be determined also on the basis of meteorological data, and the claims should be made within a 1-week period to the relevant agricultural office or fisheries division. Claims will only be entertained for animals that have some form of identification approved by the ministry and records pertaining to the animal.
Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Microsoft founder Bill Gates and his wife Melinda have been invited to visit Trinidad and Tobago. The invitation was extended by Fazal Karim, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, following the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between Microsoft Trinidad and Tobago and government for the Youth in Education and Entrepreneurship program Youth Spark. The signing took place at the technology giant's new location headquarters at Mucurapo Road, St. James. Hernan Rincon, president of Microsoft Latin America, left, and Fazal Karim, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, signed a Memorandum of Understanding to implement the Microsoft Youth Spark initiative to help young people develop their full potential by connecting them with greater opportunities in education, employment, and entrepreneurship. The minister says a visit by Gates will make a significant statement to the technology world, not only in terms of the Microsoft's corporate social responsibility, but about partnering with a developing country like Trinidad and Tobago in research.
Because we feel that is going to be a significant statement, not only in terms of the CSR or the corporate social responsibility, but in terms of partnering with a developing country like Trinidad and Tobago in the area of research.
The minister also believes there are opportunities with Microsoft and our educational institutions for internships and the exchange of faculty and the placement of faculty at our institutions.
We cannot stay dependent on simply sending resumes and expecting that we're going to get jobs. In fact, I want to tell you in terms of the Microsoft academies that we have around the country, and you would have spoken about the whole aspect of entrepreneurship, which is now rebranded as technopreneurship in the world of technology, that we have to be cautious against saturating the market with what I call the graduate glut.
Minister Karim adds that the graduate glut is simply in terms of what the labor market says.
That if you do not focus on where the jobs are, what you are going to be doing is creating not only the graduate glut and oversaturating the market, but you are going to create discouraged graduates, many of whom, upon completing a course of study financed by you, the taxpayer, find it extremely difficult to acquire jobs. And I ask you the question, what really is one of the major objectives of pursuing education? It must be education for employment.
The Youth Spark program serves as a springboard, not just for employment, but to develop entrepreneurship in the digital age. Microsoft Youth Spark is a global company that is expected to create opportunities for 300 million young people worldwide over the next 3 years. Under the agreement with Trinidad and Tobago, Microsoft will provide access to software solutions at state-operated academic institutions, as well as training for educators and students in the use of solutions. As part of the deal, the company will include and provide support for other development programs such as DreamSpark, BizSpark, and Imagine Cup, which will help young students and potential business creators gain access to technology to start a business with the aim of solving global challenges. Come back, TNT Athletes Shine. Stay with us. Welcome back. With the National Track and Field Championship mere weeks away and the World Championships scheduled to come off in Russia from August 9th, Trinidad and Tobago's athletes are running into form at the right time, if we are to judge from the results of various high-profile meets contested on the weekend. And here's Wayne Cunningham with more.
2012 Olympic hurdlers Michael Thomas and Wayne Davis II both made their country proud with stellar performances on Saturday. Thomas set a new national record of 13.17 in the 110-meter hurdles at the SAR Athletic Sprint Series in Mount Verde, Florida, while Davis became the NCAA 110-meter hurdle champion with a time of 13.14. Davis's time did not qualify as a national record because of a wind speed of plus 3.8. Davis joins a select group of Trinidad and Tobago athletes who are also NCAA Division I champions. The Texas A&M Junior captured the title on the final day of the College Championships event on Saturday in Eugene, Oregon. Trinidad and Tobago's Sparkle McKnight was also in winner's row at the NCAA Championships, running the second leg of the 4x400 meter relay for Arkansas. The team passed the stick around in 3 minutes, 27.09. Sparkle is a junior at Southern College and was part of the 2012 Olympic contingent in London. The Honorable Anil Roberts, Minister of Sport, extended congratulations to Wayne Davis and Michael Thomas on their achievements, saying it augured well for the upcoming national championships. Quote, Wayne, as well as several other young athletes like Sparkle McKnight and Dion Lendor, are showing their promise and potential to become world-beating sprinters for many years to come. Our athletes have always done well on the U.S. college circuits. Moreover, the World Championships in August should prove to be a coming-out party for many of these athletes who have achieved the qualifying standards. The future of track and field for Trinidad and Tobago is still on good legs, and we wholly support their individual efforts to excel. Unquote. The National Track and Field Championships will be held at the Hazley Crawford Stadium on the 22nd and 23rd of June 2013, and the World Championships will be staged in Moscow, Russia from the 9th to the 18th of August 2013. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
When we come back, no hunger strikes at the nation's prisons. Thank you for staying with us. There is no hunger strike at the nation's prisons. This is the assurance from the Justice Minister and Prisons Commissioner. However, the prisoners have been attempting to gauge the attention of the Justice Minister on a very important matter.
The most significant issue facing prisoners in Trinidad and Tobago is the lengthy delays in preferring an indictment and having a trial start. This was learned by the Honourable Minister of Justice, Chrislyn Moore, when she met with 15 prisoners who are so affected. Speaking at a press conference at the maximum security prison, Aruca, Senator Moore says her visit to the prison to speak with inmates came about following several letters to her that required immediate attention. She noted that the issue would have affected mainly those persons in remand, especially those accused of murder, as it is a non-bailable offence and would see inmates having no choice but to wait for an indictment and a start of their trial.
There are 578 persons accused of murder in the prison system. This is spread, of course, between all the assize, Port of Spain, San Fernando, and Tobago.
Of these persons, 387 have been awaiting trials for more than 3 years, while the remaining 192 have been awaiting trials for less than 3 years.
Quite apart from speaking to the weight, it shows how overburdened the system is. Because remember, these numbers only refer to capital matters. They only refer to a percentage of the prison population. So that it bears truth to the assertions we've been making that if the courts only did capital matters, all the courts would be engaged in nothing else for quite a long period of time. What does that mean by way of solution? It means that the challenge is a large one, because this is not simply a matter that can be solved by presenting a date to inmates. We also have to connect that with the availability of courts, physical courts, the availability of judges, and the availability of defense attorneys, among other things.
There is a paucity of persons who are willing to take up judicial appointment and fewer persons coming in to criminal defense work.
So you have all these pressures on the system so that there can really be no short-term solution. We have to be honest. There is no short-term solution. What we have to do is work in conjunction with all the arms to make sure that when matters start, they finish, that they don't experience unnecessary delays, and so get the matters through the system as quickly as we can. And over time, having the supplementation of the new Preliminary Inquiry Act, what we will find is that we will see the reduction in the numbers over the medium term. But over the short term, there is not a whole lot we can do to see dramatic reductions in these numbers.
The Honourable Minister revealed that as many as 30 persons have expressed their want to plead guilty. However, there is no such facility which permits this. Minister Moore says after speaking with Chief Justice Ivor Archie, the judiciary has set aside 2 weeks in early September for the hearing of guilty pleas. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
And that story brings us to the end of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.